So today is the 18th, and we are exactly 1 week from Christmas. I had to look at the date because these dates all run together sometimes. And in the O Antiphons, today is O Adonai. And there's something that I want to open up in a very delicate way in our reflection today. And that is that these O Antiphons, and this one in particular, is very relational. And the positive part of it being relational is that there is a sense of intimacy, a drawing us into an I thou. We're social creatures, so we're made for relationship, even if the relationship is just with ourselves or with the tree outside the window. And that is an incredible part of our nature on a ground level. We can never get away from it. Even if we're a hermit, we are in relation to the world as a hermit. And so that can be a very life-giving and transformative experience. On the other side of that is that a relational spirituality, an I thou, can have the shortcoming, we can have the shortcoming with it, it's not the shortcoming, of creating a dualistic way of going about our spirituality. We can displace our power, displace ourselves, and we see it through history, onto something. Now, if you look at human history, if you were to study it, I know I had the blessing of being in seminary, so we looked at the large view of the human evolution. And what you run into at all times is when you have anything that is considered a theological insight that's coming from an experience of the transcendent, it develops into some kind of relational articulation of the divine. And with that, you get the full spectrum of the strengths and the weaknesses of that. For instance, in Christianity, there have been huge times in Christian history when God was positioned as only transcendent. What are the results of that? The big one is a sense of unworthiness on an essential level, on a very fundamental level of being a human being. Because if all that is good is transcendent, then all that is immanent is faulty or is in need of transcendent. So I'm giving an example, but I could actually trace that back pre-Christian, and you get the same strengths and weaknesses. So these strengths and weaknesses, we can't point a finger at any tradition, and we can't point a finger at Christianity or Judaism or any monotheistic religion as being the perpetrator of this weakness. What we can recognize is that we are called in our evolution to experience the limitations and the expansiveness of relational spirituality. The I thou-ness is intended to awaken us to the unified sense of our nature. The great evidence we have to this, and of course, I've been a proponent of this all my life, is when you read the lives of the mystics of all traditions. There is a moment when they come to a realization that in some mysterious way, they either are God or their center is God, their soul. John of the Cross, I've quoted many times, the soul's center is not close to God, is not in marriage with God, but is God. And you find this in all traditions. So with that understanding, we can then open ourselves in a new way to the relational quality of our own spirituality and move beyond the ways that we limit ourselves, that we have become jaded because of human weakness and misuse of the I thou-ness. the ways we've been genuinely hurt, ways we've been traumatized, ways we've been oppressed, and recover the innocence of the I, thou. The O Antiphons give us this opportunity. Today's O Antiphon is O Adonai, or O Lord. Now, if that isn't a direct naming of an I, thou relationship, I think it's the strongest one in all the O Antiphons, O Lord, to actually name a being. Because yesterday we had O Wisdom, which is a bit more mysterious and amorphous. But today we've got O Lord. And when you trace that back, O Adonai, what you find is it is referring to the many instances in the Hebraic culture where God was experienced in creation as part of the creative story. It's so beautiful and so powerful. Now, one of the direct pointers that this O Antiphon is revealing is the time of Moses. But it goes back, O Adonai goes back before Moses. And Moses, you have first Moses encountering O Adonai in the burning bush. And then you've got Moses encountering God on Mount Sinai, and you get the incredibly illuminative texts we call the Ten Commandments. And even there, it's recorded that Moses only saw the back of God, but that Moses actually saw God in form. You get this in so many instances. You get it with Abraham. There is the belief on some levels that God appeared in the form of angels, 3 angels, when Abraham and Sarah were in the tent in the desert and Sarah could not conceive. You get God speaking, and that's a form. To speak is form. You get God speaking when Abraham is called to give up the firstborn son. You get stories of God appearing to prophets like Isaiah and Ezekiel. You have God appearing to Jacob and wrestling. Some say in the form of an angel, like that he's wrestling with the angel of God. Some say he's actually wrestling with God. And Joshua at Jericho. And I'm sorry that these are all male-centered stories. The anthropocentric bias that is in our inspired text is we're unable to get beyond that. So I hope that you can jump beyond it and recognize that we probably have just as many, if not more, instances of God appearing to women as men. We just don't have it recorded because of the anthropocentrism of humanity that is still very prevalent. What we have here then is God, even Adam and Eve. I'm going to go back to the original creation story in Genesis. God walked in the garden with them, walked in the garden. We have this very, very powerful setup with O Adonai that is a covenant. And in that covenant, we have contained therein promises and laws. Now, when I studied the laws, I learned that that word that is so harsh and black and white in our culture actually really meant love. They were articulations of love, what it meant to be in a loving relationship. Think about when you have good communication with a beloved partner or a friend or a family member. In a way, you could say the understandings between you, the agreements between you, are laws of love. So that we can broaden that out. But what's even more illuminative here is that covenant shines a light on something that we long for as human beings. And what is that? That we are not alone. And that in not being alone, that we are known, we are held, we are seen, we are guided. And as we open up to the experience of God at our very center, this becomes more and more mysterious, but more and more certain. The portal, however, is this opening to covenant. Covenant. And if you wish to reframe this, I invite you to reframe it as a covenant with yourself. Think about the meditations that we've done that we're working with our column. We did a pineal gland meditation. We did a understanding the energetic channels of the column. This is a relational way of meditating. Going and being with our child, that's another relational. Everything that we do is fairly relational. Even if we sit in silence and observe the movement in our mind, there's something of a relationship there that then falls away into what we might call presence. I guarantee you, this may be a pretty big statement to say, is that I believe that relationship is perhaps one of the only ways that we move into a beyond relationship way. Even if you were to spontaneously experience presence, you would find that there was something of an opening, even unconsciously, that plunged you into a nameless presence, and that itself is relationship. So my invitation today then is for each of us to take a look at the promises that we have in relationship to ourselves, to our life, to our world. They could be familial, friendship, they could be just your inner self, they could be in our world. Do you have promises that you live out? Do you have a covenant that's alive for you in your relationship with the world? We get lots of nuances of that if you were to look in the Bible. Put no stumbling block. Or when Jesus says, I am the way, the truth, and the life, there's a covenantal indicator there. If you go back to the 10 Commandments, you get the covenant shown up in the form of ethics, and it plays out in our ethics. That's how we understand how to live out the covenant. But it catches up our senses as well. It's the burning bush. I mean, that's incredibly sensual. So in the story of Moses, we get the mystical and the practical contained right therein. You can look at any mystic and get that, but here Adonai is largely pointing to the Moses experience. Are your promises alive? Are they new? Are they dynamic? And what are they? It may be that you have promises you don't even know you have, but you're living them out. See if you can even recognize one promise that you have that you didn't know you had. Again, in relation to yourself, to your relationships, or to the world, or all of them. Renewing, and let today be a renewing of promise. So today's meditation experience, we're going to do an interesting combination. So we're going to do fire breath so that we can fire up a relationship with our own selves as the burning bush. Fire breath pulls us into that. And when I was looking at some of the amazing images of the O Antiphons, which I'm going to send you some. I didn't want to put them in this recording, but I will be sending them to you, or maybe I will. Maybe I'll put them into this recording. No, I think I want to edit them, so I'll send them along in Patreon. You get the image of O Adonai in many representations as simply a flame. So we're going to use fire breath in intervals, situated with a song that was very popular when we went to the vernacular. So in Catholicism, there was a movement from Latin songs into English, and that happened in the 60s. And there's a beautiful song that comes from the Adonai experience in the Hebrew text. It's composed by the St. Louis Jesuits. It's called You Are Near. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to sing the refrain and the verse. And if you know it, sing it along with me. I will include this as well into the Patreon. You can do this meditation again. And then we're going to do a pause into silence, then do the fire breath, and then do the next refrain and verse. It's a very, very consoling composition of some texts from the Hebrew inspired texts. All right, so I invite you to close your eyes. And with your eyes closed, take your left hand and put it on your abdomen, just below your belly button, and put the right hand over it. And fire breath is a contraction of your abdomen and your diaphragm. It's like you're pumping air out of you on the exhale. And your hand's going to be here so that it can help the contraction, so that you can feel it. And don't worry if it's a little hard to do. It's okay. It can take practice. But let's start by breathing from the place where your left hand is, so that your hands are expanding outward on the inhale and contracting back on the exhale. Let's take a few breaths from here. And continue. We're going to do rounds of 10. We'll do 3 rounds before I move into the song. And after the next exhale, take a deep breath in. And we're going to pump the air 10 times using the nose if you can, but it's okay if you can't. Use the mouth and pump. And relax. And draw a breath in. Another 10 pumps. And relax. And inhale. And pump. And relax. Let your hands relax. Be in touch with the breath. And allow yourself to open up to this song as your own. Yahweh, I know you are near, standing always at my side. You guard me from the foe, and you lead me in ways everlasting. Lord, you have searched my heart, and you know when I sit and when I stand. Your hand is upon me, protecting me from death, keeping me from harm. And connect back with the breath in the silence. And we will move into 3 rounds of fire breath, inviting in a breath. And 10 times. Relax. And inviting in a breath. 10 rounds. And relax. Inviting in a breath. 10 times. And relax. Let yourself be in the silence. And receive these words. Yahweh, I know you are near, standing always at my side. You guard me from the foe, and you lead me in ways everlasting. Where can I run from your love? If I climb to the heavens, you are there. If I fly to the sunrise or sail beyond the sea, still I find you there. Moving into the silence. Connecting with the breath. Inviting in a breath. And exhaling. 3 more rounds, inviting in a breath. Pumping 10 times. And relax. Inviting in a breath. Pumping 3 times. And relax. Inviting in a breath. 10 times. And relax. Opening to the sensations within the body, mind, and heart. Let these words again arise within you as you hear them from without. Yahweh, I know you are near, standing always at my side. You guard me from the foe, and you lead me in ways everlasting. You know my heart and its ways. You who formed me before I was born. In the secret of darkness, before I saw the sun, in my mother's womb. Moving into the silence. And connecting with the breath, inhale and exhale. Another round of fire breath, inhale, 10 times. Exhale. Fighting in a breath. Another round of 10. Relax. Inviting in a breath. One more round. And relax. Be with the sensations. Notice how you've shifted. Enjoy whatever is. And allow these words once again to contribute to your experience. Yahweh, I know you are near, standing always at my side. You guard me from the foe, and you lead me in ways everlasting. Marvelous to me are your works. How profound are your thoughts, my Lord. Even if I could count them, they number as the stars, you would still be there. And we enjoy the silence together. O Adonai. We bring this time of reflection and meditation to a close, to seal the experience, to honor the flame of your being. Draw your palms together in front of the heart and open your eyes with Namaste. Namaste, my friends. O Adonai.